I don't know if you noticed when you clicked on this video, but I'm almost at 100,000 subscribers. So if you like watching Tricky Gym and you haven't made that commitment yet, well, could you? In a format dominated by huge one-hit KOs, one deck stands apart from the rest. Hisuian Goodra VSTAR. Goodra VSTAR is super tough to knock out because of its rolling iron attack, which does 200 damage and decreases the damage dealt to Goodra by 80 during your opponent's next turn. Combined with Radiant Gardevoir's Loving Veil ability, which decreases the damage that your Pokemon take from Pokemon V by 20, you can decrease the damage that Hisuian Goodra VSTAR takes by 100 from opposing Pokemon V. And then with its Moisture Star VSTAR power that completely heals your Goodra VSTAR, your opponent's gonna have a tough time taking any prize cards. I'm stoked to show off this deck in action, but before we get to it, let's head over to FullGripGames.com. If you want to build the best decks from the upcoming Pokemon trading card game set Silver Tempest, you gotta check out FullGripGames.com. We've got pre-orders for Silver Tempest singles available now, so you can get those Regidrago VSTAR or Lugia VSTAR delivered to your door as soon as possible. Supporting the shop at Full Grip Games directly supports the content that I create here on Tricky Gym, so thank you so much for shopping at FullGripGames.com. Now, let's check out that Hisuian Goodra VSTAR deck. This is Hale Olbernolte Salt Lake City Regional Championship winning Arceus VSTAR Hisuian Goodra VSTAR deck. The idea of this deck is to accelerate energy into play with Arceus VSTAR's Trinity Nova attack so that you can tank and heal with Hisuian Goodra VSTAR. Now Goodra has the awesome VSTAR power Moisture Star, but you won't always get to use it. You can only use one VSTAR power in a game, and sometimes you'll have to use Arceus VSTAR's Starbirth ability in order to get set up. But fortunately, there's plenty of other ways to heal your Goodra in this deck, like Crystal Cave, which heals 30 damage during your turn, and Hyper Potion, which heals 120 damage from one of your Pokemon, and then you have to discard 2 energy from that Pokemon. Hyper Potion pairs really well with Double Turbo Energy, which this deck already plays to help power up Arceus VSTAR, since you can just discard a Double Turbo Energy to pay for Hyper Potion's double energy discard requirement. It's even possible to pull off the double Hyper Potion play on your Goodra VSTAR to heal 240 damage from your Goodra VSTAR so that you can keep swinging with Rolling Iron. And the damage really adds up slowly since Rolling Iron decreases the damage that Goodra is going to take next turn by 80, and then with that Radiant Gardevoir's Loving Veil ability, it takes even less damage from opposing Pokemon V. This deck is one of the best decks in the Pokemon trading card game, and I'm stoked to play it today, so let me know what you think of Hisuian Goodra VSTAR in the comments below. Looks like we're up against Giratina VSTAR. They open Giratina. It's got a capture energy too, so they can go get probably a Comfey or a Radiant Greninja, start drawing cards. We've got a solid opening hand with an Ultra Ball and a Double Turbo Energy, so I can get the turn 1 Trinity Charge. I'm definitely stoked about that. We can go grab ourselves a Goodra and get moving. Marnie is really good against these Giratina decks. It's really good against all decks that use the Comfey engine because, you know, constant hand disruption can eventually get them into a situation where they just don't have the switch cards that they need, or they miss a beat or something like that. You know, like for instance, with this Giratina V in the active, a lot of times these Giratina VSTAR decks will only play maybe 2 copies of Switch and 2 copies of Escape Rope. So there's only 4 copies of Switch that can move the Giratina in the deck. And if they don't find one on turn 1, you know, then it's possible that this thing might be stuck here, which would be pretty cool for me, because it would allow me to swing into it and also decrease the amount of cards that they are able to get into the lost zone. As we can see, they were not able to find a switch, so 0 flower selectings on the first turn of the game. That is something that I love to see. But here's the deal. They didn't play a switch card, so now I'm asking myself, should we Marnie or should we Avery? And I'm thinking that for me, it's going to be Avery because I've already got the double turbo in my hand and they haven't played a switch yet, right? So if I Marnie them, I might Marnie them into a switch. Instead, I'm going to keep them here with the 4-card hand. And also playing the Avery allowed me to see more cards to be able to be more selective with this Ultra Ball here. So I'll Ultra Ball and we're going to discard probably keep the boss's orders. We've got Evolution Incense. Colress's Experiment can go. And this Melony can go as well. That seems fine. And we're going to get ourselves a Goodra V. So we'll play that down and Trinity Charge. Accelerate some energies onto our Goodra. Seems good. We'll do 2. Yep, that. Good. Get these onto Goodra, and we are feeling very confident about our turn 1 in this match. We'll see if my opponent had a Colress's Experiment in their hand that they were not able to play, and they do, which is fine with me. You know, we didn't Marnie them. I can let them grow their hand with Colress's Experiment this turn and then Marnie them next turn, which seemed like an ideal way to play that since they only had a 4-card hand and they didn't play a switch card, so it felt like last turn I could have potentially improved their hand by Marnieing them. But this turn, they have the Colress's Experiment. They may find a switch card, get into Comfy, start using flower selecting. So this next turn, it's almost guaranteed. Yeah, they actually don't find a switch, so they get to Abyss Seeking, right? And they'll find 2 more cards. So now with a Marnie, I can almost guarantee that their hand will be worse, right? Because look, now they have an 8-card hand, right? So their hand is just explicitly getting worse after this Marnie. Thank you, Jonesy, for that Prime sub and the 7 months. Appreciate you, Jonesy. We'll use Evolution Incense to go get Arceus V STAR. They've only got 4 cards in the Lost Zone. We're feeling pretty good about that. I'll Ultra Ball away these cards. And we're going to go get Goodra V STAR as well. So I don't actually need to waste my Starbirth. We've pretty much got everything that we want. And we'll Marnie. It's a solid hand for us. I can set up another Goodra if I want to. It's pretty solid. Let's quick ball away the switch. Or I could go get Radiant Gardevoir, which is also super good. We can grab Radiant Gardevoir, decrease damage dealt to us even further. Just seems really good. I've only got 1 Hyper Potion in the deck, but that's okay. We'll grab this. That was a misclick, but it's fine. I guess we're here now. Sure, man. Sure. That's cool, bro. That's cool. Just going to get another Marnie. Just keep Marnieing. We don't need the Parasol yet. They are nowhere near 10 cards in the Lost Zone. So we're chilling. I actually don't hate that Starbirth there. It's fine. The idea of me using Moisture Star is not, like super, super important. We've got Hyper Potions, you know. So long as I'm winning the 2-hit KO race, it doesn't really matter. And getting another Goodra set up is certainly very good. We also would love to just continue Marnieing to disrupt my opponent's hand. We could have grabbed Parasol for the Goodra, but they've only got 4 cards in the Lost Zone right now, so I'm not terribly concerned about getting the Parasol quite yet. I've also got 2 Goodras set up. So even if they do V-Star 1, they won't be able to V-Star both. I mean, we've got such a solid board state that I think that we're going to be able to run away with this one regardless. They've had a really tough time doing much of anything this game. They got a Lumineon for Colress's Experiment. This is something that I really don't envy about the Lost Zone decks. I mean, they're just so susceptible to Marnie. They got to rely on cards like Lumineon in order to go get Colress's Experiment, because they pretty much have to play Colress's Experiment every turn of the game for the first few turns, or else they're having a bad time. Also, if you happen to open your Giratina instead of Comfy, sometimes it can be more difficult than you would like to move that Giratina out of the active spot. So you just have to Abyss Seeking and kind of just offer up that Giratina, let it get knocked out. I do love to see the Lost Vacuum go to the Lost Zone. That's cool for me. Now, as far as promoting a Pokemon off of this escape rope, I think it's fine to just offer up the Radiant Gardevoir. Doesn't really matter. I don't think that they are going to... I guess they could Lost Impact. If they Lost Impact a Gardevoir, like, that's fine. It doesn't really matter. Also, the Gardevoir does not help their prize trade at all. So I am happy to offer that up. They would still have to take out 3 Pokemon V-Star in order to win the game. So we definitely don't mind that. We've got either Marnie or Colress's Experiments next turn. We'll see what their hand looks like, and kind of, it looks like they're just going to Abyss Seeking, honestly, because their hand probably is not very strong, which makes me want to Colress's Experiment instead of Marnie. Both net me 5 cards, but the Marnie could be stronger for next turn. So that's okay. I can keep these strong supporter options in my hand while playing Colress's Experiments. Find Quick Ball, that's fine. Let's Colress's Experiments. We whiff. We whiff away to attack, which is fine. That's cool. We'll take the... Let's see, do we got a water in the discard pile? No. Boss's Orders, Big Charm. That's cool. Gonna attach an extra energy. We probably want this Big Parasol on this Goodra, which is fine. They've got 7 cards in the Lost Zone now. We'll put that there. We'll put that there. I'll attach an extra energy to Goodra and pass. We'll see what they do this next turn. Oh no, Radiant Gardevoir is a fatty. Retreat cost of 2. Mobility is not this deck's strong suit, but that's okay. It's got 2 switch in it and double turbos. That's the thing, is you can just retreat with double turbo. That's why he can get away with 2 switch cards. I was hoping to find either a switch or a double turbo off of that Colress, but we could not find it. My opponent's hand seems to be equally bad, though, because they're just going to go for the Abyss Seeking. And then, good thing that Gardevoir is not a chick diminish. It is a Pokemon. Now my opponent's got a hand of like 9 or so. It's feeling like real Marnie hours out here. We do find Switch, which is fantastic. And now we can switch into Goodra VSTAR. I've got the Umbrella on it. We've set them to just 4 cards. Feeling pretty good about this. I don't want to play down Path because then I turn off this. I mean, I could play down Path just to stop their Radiant Greninja from drawing them cards. You know, do I really need my Radiant Gardevoir? The only thing that's going to be able to knock out this Goodra is a Star Requiem, right? So I think that that's okay. And then we'll just Rolling Iron. Seems fine. I'm pretty much completely protected at this point. There's our 2 Hyper Potions that we prized. And with Rolling Iron's protection, we've got the Umbrella. We're taking 80 less damage from attacks. I mean, we're just in a real solid spot right now. 3 Hyper Potions in our hand, double turbo energy, Path to the Peak in play, so they can't draw extra cards with Radiant Greninja. We just Marnied them. So we should be able to just rock and roll at this point. Rock and Rolling Iron, get it? They have a Lost Vacuum in the Lost Zone. So they probably won't be able to find their, you know, I mean, yeah, they probably only play that 1 Lost Vacuum, if we're being honest. So they probably will not be able to remove it from the Goodra, and this is exactly how we set up checkmates against this deck. They can Mirage Gate now. They can only Lost Impact for 200 damage, which is not great. It's not exactly where you want to be. It's a lot of resources to waste on knocking out a Goodra, especially when I only have 4 prizes left to take. I can afford to 2-hit KO this Giratina and then Gust and knock out the Lumineon for game, which feels really good. My opponent does have 10 cards in the Lost Zone, so the Umbrella is actually just saving me from a 1-hit KO right now. The Tool Jammer! No! Not the Jammer! All right, well. They had the Vacuum and the Jammer, bro. Okay. Well, now. Things are getting spicy. They still have to knock out both these guys, so I think I'm still chilling. Yeah, we'll promote that. We'll attach this here and Marnie. We found Evolution Incense, which is quite good. And I've got... Oh, my other Goodra is prized. All right, that's cool. We'll slap that Crystal Cave down. That's good. Okay, no problem, no problem. No sweat. We're chilling. We're doing just fine. We got everything that we need. We're doing A-okay. Yep, no problem at all. No, that Big Parasol totally did what it needed to do, didn't it? So that's why the big parasols are in the deck. They're in the deck to stop that from happening. But, you know, if your opponent's got the tool jammer, then you're going to be having a bad time. I was feeling pretty confident since they do have the vacuum in the loss zone right now. So in order to... They shouldn't be able to one-hit KO my Arceus, though, which should make it okay for me. Espeon VMAX does get the job done. Yeah, it does. We could be playing Espeon VMAX. I do like Espeon VMAX as a card right now. It's pretty good. Fixes a lot of issues. Fixes the whole Sableye situation. Galarian Mr. Rhyme? What does he do? I'm really interested to see how V-Guard energy impacts the Pokemon TCG. I think that V-Guard energy is going to be insane. I think it's going to like completely change. I think that card like single-handedly is going to completely change the game. Here we go. Radiant Gardevoir. Coming in clutch. That's right. No knockouts for you, bucko. Now I'm going to be able to knock out this Giratina V-Star. My opponent doesn't appear to have another attacker ready to go. So that's cool. Let's just keep our resources, take the knockout. Seems fine. Give me the Goodra. Give me the Goodra V-Star. Alrighty then. Okay. That's fine. You know, this deck's only got 2 Goodra V-Stars in it. My opponent exploded one with the old Star Requiem Tool Jammer combo, so. Be nice if we could have found our Goodra there, but we did not. Yes, Ordinary Rod usually is in Giratina, yes. Helps put energies back into the deck, and it also helps put Giratina's back into the deck, helps put your Drapion back into the deck. Oh, Temple of Sinnoh does counter V-Guard energy, however, I can't play Temple of Sinnoh in my Mew VMAX deck. Wait, or can I? All right. Hear me out. Mew VMAX, but we play all basic energies. Listen, I need a way to continue playing Mew VMAX, but V-Guard energy really messes with the whole Mew deck. Tell you what, that matchup was not fun. Just crushing hammers. Fans are so bad because they don't solve the problem. They just put the energy back into the deck and Archeops will just go get it again. That's just, it's so bad. Just put 2 double turbo energies. You're right. All right, we got our Umbrella, Ella, Ella, a. Under my umbrella, Ella. All right, I got 2 boss in this deck. Come on now. I think my least favorite thing about these decks is that they just draw like potatoes. There we go. There's Goodra. It's just pure potato at all times. You're barely doing anything. You've got no BRL in the deck. You get to Starbirth once, and then you're just holding on for dear life for the rest of the game. Like, I hope I just find the cards I need. I hope so. To be fair, though, after months of playing nothing but Mew VMAX, everything feels like a potato. Mew VMAX has access to its entire deck the whole time. You're just like, cool, I want to draw 15 cards this turn. Okay. That's a good question. Why is the tool still off? Thank you. Stinky asking all the questions we're too scared to ask. Why is the Big Charm, why is the Big Charm not working yet? Could someone turn the Big Charm machine back on? All right, that's GG's. That's why I saved those energies. I knew you'd try. It. There we go. Good game. Listen, if I could just open an Arceus and an energy card every game, man, I'm going to be a happy camper. All right, we're going to start this game with Arceus V. We've got a double turbo energy and a quick ball. I can quick ball away the water energy, go get a Goodra, and pass to my opponents. We've got a couple of Melonies in hand, as well as a Marnie. My opponent's got a double turbo energy and an Ultra Ball themselves. Curious to see what kind of Arceus variant they're going to be running. They've got Avery in the deck. Looks like it's Arceus Giratina. A battle of the Arceus Dragon decks. On one hand, we've got Arceus Giratina VSTAR, which can one-hit KO anything. On the other hand, we've got Arceus Goodra, which prevents one-hit KOs. They've got the tool jammer right there. They've revealed the jammer. I see. Very good. We've got a pretty Captain Insano looking hand over here, though. I have to say, this is definitely pretty strong. We've got Goodra. We've got Arceus. I've got Boss's Orders if I want to gust up the Giratina and get smacking. That's pretty good. You guys want to see a Captain Insano play right here? Check this out. Starbirth. And I'm going to boss up the Giratina. I'm going to schmack it. And I think we've got the boss already. I want to go. They've got Tool Jammer on the guy. So I was thinking Path and Boss, right? Because they're most likely. But then if they just have a Giratina VSTAR, they'll knock out my guy. But then I bring up Goodra and then I finish it off. So I think Path and Boss is still like the best play that I can make. And then I'm going to put down Gardevoir just in case they counter the stadium, right? Yeah. This is a saucy play for sure. There's no way they get their way out of this one. All right. I've got double protection. First of all, if they need to rely on Arceus then they have to counter the path. Right, I understand that the Guardy is path. I get it, right? But here's the problem, is if I didn't path, then they could Arceus for path to turn off my Guardy, right? So it's better for me to path because now they can't use Arceus, right? No, all right, so they're going to play their whole hand down to 0 to take this knockout. Sure. That's fine. I still think I'm fine here. They play their hand down to 0. They have the boss. They have the knockouts. And like I said, had I not, they could have gone for Arceus and they could have Starbirthed. So we're chilling. I think I don't Marnie and I just Trinity Nova for the knockout, right? And I'll accelerate 2 energy. I'll accelerate 1 energy to my Arceus. And so that way I can Hyper Potion the Arceus if I need to. That's fine. No, we're totally, they literally just played their hand down to 0 to take that knockout. So, and they don't have their V-Star power because Path is out. I think that they're going to be stuck. Unless they get very lucky and just like draw into everything they need. Yeah, no, they don't even have an attack. They still have a 0 card hand. So we're chilling. We'll Evolution Incense, thin the Goodra, Colress's Experiment, we find Switch, and now this game is pretty much a wrap. Switch into Arceus, and I can just load all of this energy on Arceus at this point because all I need to do is just keep this thing alive, and I've got 4 Hyper Potions in the deck, so we're chilling. They top deck the energy. They have to swing. But I've got 4 Hyper Potion in the deck, and I'm knocking out this Arceus next turn, so they'll scoop. And that's GG's. That is the power of Path to the Peak. All right, playing against Arceus Giratina VSTAR. I've got a nice starting hand thanks to that Evolution Incense top deck. I will gladly attach this double turbo energy and pass. Then next turn I can use Evolution Incense, go get Arceus VSTAR, and use Starbirth to go search out a Goodra V and maybe a draw supporter. We'll see if my opponent's able to find a double turbo energy on the first turn so that they can Trinity charge. Nope, just a powerful colorless energy. And we'll see. It's nice to go first in the Arceus mirror. Getting the first hit is very important, especially when we're playing against Arceus Giratina, since Giratina VSTAR can one-hit KO our dudes. This is all very good. We'll Starbirth. They've only got a 3-card hand, so we can get Goodra and a Colress's Experiment. I like that. I don't want a Marnie. So let's play Colress's Experiment. Big Parasol for sure. Actually, no, I don't need the Big Parasol. They're never gonna... Yeah, no. We'll grab these. That seems good. And then put down the Goodra path to the peak, and we'll Trinity Nova for 180 damage and accelerates the 3 energy to our Goodra V on the bench. Sick. Feeling like I'm in a very good spot now. They've got Bibarel, and they can Marnie. All right, it's cool. They didn't have that Marnie last turn, so I didn't think they had one. They must have top decked it. We've got a nice hand though with Colress's Experiment and Avery, and I'm hoping that by throwing that path to the peak down, maybe I can stick my opponents without a Starbirth themselves. It looks like they're going to have to settle for a Trinity Charge to accelerate some energy onto Giratina, which puts me in a very favorable position as they are not able to deal any damage yet. I'm going to be able to knock out this Arceus this next turn, which means that I'm good to counter this stadium so that I can use my Radiant Gardevoir's ability again. That would be super good. So let's see. Go Colress's Experiments. We do not find a counter stadium, but I do have some energy, which is good. So we'll keep that. And I'm going to Ultra Ball away the Melony and the Arceus to go get Goodra VSTAR. And honestly, I could just retreat into Goodra VSTAR and just start using Rolling Iron, which seems fine. We can deny prizes this way, since this Giratina cannot one-hit KO the Goodra now that it has used Rolling Iron. I could potentially heal some next turn. They've got a Raihan, so maybe they're just gearing up to Lost Impact a whole bunch, which is fine with me. They haven't taken any prizes yet, so we're chilling. I would like to get a counter stadium and find my Radiant Gardevoir. They're doing 280 damage, so they're doing 200. If I heal 120, 150, that's 50. So then I could prevent a 2-hit KO if I'm able to find a Hyper Potion and a Crystal Cave. Wait, you're telling me this blue thing is Colress's hair? Holy smokes, bro. What? That's not like a headband or something? That's crazy. Man, that's news to me, brother. All right, I'm going to thin the deck, Evolution Incense, and then use Colress's Experiment to see what we can draw into. We do find the Hyper Potion and the Crystal Cave, which is sick, and a Goodra. That's cool. I will take those things. And then we're going to put Crystal Cave into play. We're going to do that. And then we're going to do this. And we're going to go Hyper Potion to the Goodra VSTAR. And look at us go. With a Rolling Iron this turn, I am making it so that they can only do 200 damage. Even with the Choice Belts, they will be 10 damage short of taking this knockout on my hefty Goodra VSTAR. That's right. Ain't got nothing on Goodra, bro. It's pretty sick. That was a huge turn, hitting the Crystal Cave with the Hyper Potion. Definitely. They've got Research and an Arceus down, as they realize this Giratina is going to be going down for sure. And my Goodra will get to Rolling Iron one more time. But I do need to build up another attacker, because this Goodra will, still, 10 damage short if they put that onto the Giratina. That's pretty crazy. This Goodra is going to take a whole bunch of prizes, but I am going to need a Pokemon to finish the game off. So I'm going to start powering up this Arceus V-STAR again so that it can go toe-to-toe with this final Arceus V-STAR on my opponent's side of the board. I got Ordinary Rod. Toss an Arceus back into the deck. And a couple of energy, sure. And then they will have a Lost Impact for just short of knockout, which is crazy. I really, minus 80 damage is so nuts. Oh, not 10 short of knockout. If they put the choice belt, it would have been 10 short, but 40 short of the knockouts. And we've got Marnie. So I feel like Avery first, then Marnie next turn, just to guarantee myself a good amount of draw. I also have all of these energies in my hand, so I want to put them onto the bottom of the deck next turn. I'll attach a water energy to this Arceus, and we'll Rolling Iron for the knockouts. Take our 2 prizes. All I have to do is finish off this Arceus, and the game is over. I've got a really strong board state, just 1 energy on this Arceus, and I'll be able to start the 2-hit KO on this Arceus V-STAR to finish the game. If my opponent builds up a second Giratina V-STAR right now, which is probably what they're trying to do. They haven't even used their V-STAR power yet. So they could use their V-STAR power to maybe go grab a Roxanne, but they're just going to Marnie, which is fine. I was going to Marnie next turn anyway, so that's cool. And then we've got a boss and a Marnie ourselves. I do need an energy, though. And if I do not find an energy, I will be in a bad spot. We did just have 3 energy, I think, Marnie to the bottom of the deck. So I probably want to play this Quick Ball to reorganize my deck, and then Marnie to try and draw into an energy so that I can have a higher chance of being able to pull off the Trinity Nova this turn. The path doesn't make a lot of difference. That's fine. The boss's orders will be important for me to be able to finish off the game, assuming that this Arceus V-STAR gets retreated to the bench. I do want to Quick Ball for my Radiant Gardevoir and then maybe find a counter stadium if I can. Well, there's Radiant Gardevoir. We'll Quick Ball away the Roxanne. Get this, and then Marnie that to the bottom of my deck. We've got 5 energy left in the deck and a 23-card deck, so it is possible to miss the energy, but I'm really hoping that we don't. Whew! Sheesh! We also found a Big Charm, which is a good find, because even though I didn't find the counter stadium, I do have a little bit more HP now, so it's going to be slightly more difficult for Giratina V-STAR to come up and knock out my Arceus It's also worth noting that V-Guard energy, which comes out in Silver Tempest, is going to make this deck even more difficult to play against, potentially. V-Guard energy, I think, is really going to mix things up. I mean, it makes it so that Giratina V-Star doesn't only have to contend with Radiant Gardevoir to hit that 280. It also is going to have to contend with V-Guard energy, which decreases the damage done to the Pokemon it's attached to by 30 from Pokemon V. So that's going to be a really impactful card. And I'm really curious to see how that goes. The problem with Fan of Waves is that it doesn't really solve the problem. It kind of just, especially since Fan of Waves is just not very good against Lugia V-Star itself, right? My opponent's only got 4 cards left in the deck. Holy smokes. It's not very good against Lugia because with Lugia, you can just re-accelerate that energy the following turn. Now, my opponent's only got 2 prizes left, so they absolutely... I mean, I have game in hand. Yeah, so we can just boss this up. We've got the boss right here. We're chilling. We'll see if they've got the vacuum to remove this Big Charm, but I'm guessing that they don't, and they do not. So that is gonna be GG's with this boss's orders in my hand. 3 times we were able to deny Giratina V-Star the one-hit KO. Wow. I mean, what an impressive showing from this Arceus Goodra deck. That about wraps it up for Hisuian Goodra V-Star. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you like the video, make sure to subscribe to the channel and check me out on Twitch, twitch.tv/TrickyJim, where I stream live Pokemon trading card game content just like the stuff you watched here every weekday. Now y'all have a good one. See ya!